There's this beautiful merger of restaurant and convenience happening in the U.S. I mean, it's been going on overseas for a long time, and my opinion is it's been neglected for a little bit. The convenience store market, it's been an afterthought.
You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, brought to you by Global Convenience Store Focus, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience, fuels, and mobility retail industry. Hosted by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, and Carolyn Schnare. Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and I'm here with my co-host, Nick Scherzer. Nick, what's going on?
Hey, Carolyn. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, I'm excited to see you on our screens here, but I mean, I got to see you in person not long ago, so that was really cool. Welcome home.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a fun trip to Pennsylvania and the NAC show last month, and I think one of the things that I'm always reminded of in the US is how advanced food services is within the convenience store industry and how it really drives the convenience store industry forward in the US, as is the case around the world with in many markets. But yeah, and it was kind of interesting at the NAC show, just hearing and getting to see some of the crossover between other industries and experts in food service coming across to the convenience store industry from the restaurant side of the world, as well as QSRs, and just this merging of knowledge and expertise in the food space.
Oh yeah, and I think we got to taste a lot of stuff. We each probably left there about 5 pounds heavier than we started.
That's true,
But
for sure.
everybody always just rolls out such a great welcome to us too when we go visit all these various store tours, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun and great to see what's on offer there.
Well, today we're going to keep talking about food, which always leaves me hungry. So I should never plan these before meals. But today we're going to be joined with someone who lives and breathes food even more than we did just for those few days during the month. But Jason Lord is a chef at Alltown Fresh, and we welcome you to our show today. Hi, Jason.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Hi, Jason.
Well, Jason, you welcomed us two years ago, and so we got to actually meet you in person, and you fed me well. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Our
Nick,
pleasure.
you weren't able to join us, but I know you've
I've
experienced
heard good
Alltown.
things. Yeah, I've heard good things for sure.
Thank you.
Well, Jason, let me jump in real quick and just ask, can you tell us a little bit, and our listeners a little bit about Alltown Fresh, and then also a little bit about yourself, how you got to where you are?
I'd love to. Yeah. So as Nick alluded to before, right, there's this beautiful merger of restaurant and convenience happening in the U.S. I mean, it's been going on overseas for a long time, and my opinion is it's been neglected for a little bit. The convenience store market, it's been an afterthought. Nobody really thought about it besides grabbing your gas and so on and so forth. So there's been a wonderful evolution of bringing real food. And what I mean by that is just cleaner ingredients, more made to order, and better for you foods into that market. And that's what we're doing at Alltown Fresh, right? So we want to provide a space where you can bring your kids when you're traveling, where you can go and grab a smoothie or a sandwich and not feel guilty about what you're doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anything. I love a really quick, fast empanada. It's one of my guilty pleasures every other morning from a store. But there's I think a big need for the ability to stop and grab better for you ingredients and better for you food.
Yeah, Jason, I agree with that, and like Carolyn said, I haven't visited your stores before. Maybe can you tell us a bit about the kind of offer that's available in Alltown Fresh?
Yeah, so we do kind of a fun no-fly list. No artificial ingredients, no artificial sweeteners, no dyes. One of our better selling items are our breakfast sandwiches, cage-free eggs. We do like an old school Frenchy folded omelet, Cabot cheddar cheese, beautiful bacon from New Hampshire. So all quality ingredients made to order for you in a quick serve environment. So each place, we have 16 of them now, four different states. We got a chef and a sous chef in each one.
Wow.
We have line cooks. We're prepping the food ourselves. We have ovens, we have burners. It's like a little restaurant. It's funny. You walk in, it's like a little restaurant attached to a little marketplace
That's amazing. Yeah.
with gas pumps outside.
with gas pumps outside. So it's kind of like an all-in-one sort of thing, right? Yeah, and we treat them like restaurants. So we have a general manager out in the front. We have a chef in the back. We still have all the staples. There's Doritos because my kids would kill me if there wasn't Doritos in there, or Smart Food, right? So we still have that there, but we do want to provide that space where we have those choices for you. New, innovative, fun things, maybe some candies or some chips you'd never seen before. So we're constantly working to kind of bring in the funnest, coolest, better for you product that's out there these days.
And Jason, you were talking about the teams in each of those 16 stores, and you referenced sous chefs within the stores. And that was actually going to be one of my questions to you, is just trying to understand how you execute and deliver that. So are those people that you guys have trained up, or have they also come across from other industries within the food service sector?
So one of our biggest opportunities is explaining what we do. So it's tough to get a restaurant chef, a restaurant sous chef, a restaurant line cook to consider us for a job.
Right.
But I have a hard time explaining to my friends and family what I do. What do you mean there's a restaurant and a gas station? Gas stations don't have restaurants, right? So once we get past that, it's really just the hospitality industry. And I think that's one of the most wonderful parts about what's going on in the convenience store space right now, is bringing that hospitality to that market. It was there before, a little bit here, a little bit there. Everybody had their favorite store when somebody would say hello when you come in, you have the conversation, so on and so forth. But as a whole, it wasn't there. So to see the transfer of hospitality, because we were doing it for years in restaurants, right? To see that transfer of hospitality to the C-store space, I think it's pretty cool.
So I visited a couple times, both on our tour and then also undercover, just to check it out one day. And this was a couple years ago. And I walked in and, I actually got gas. I came in, I did the whole like convenience store customer thing, but I knew I was going to eat something there. So I was super excited about that. And you walk in and it's a big, huge open store. And I'm talking about the one in Hudson. And it's a big open store with, convenience things, use the restroom just like everyone would. And I ordered food. I got myself like either a salad or a bowl. And I went outside to go eat. And you had a pop-up tent set up. And someone was actually making tacos or at least starting to assemble them and everything there. And this just wonderful gentleman just walks up and was like, "Do you want a taco?" I'm like, "Okay." Like I was outside in the seating area and it was just so genuine. And so, and he goes, "Well, let me tell you about all of them first." And I'm like, "Okay." So, I left my food over there. I had a whole array. He's like, "Well, this one's made of this. This is this. And here's our region." I think you had, we were sampling drinks and everything else too. And it was just so cool and such an experience. And I watched later on as I was finishing eating even more food. I watched people coming back and forth and coming in from the gas pump doing their convenience thing. And then walking into the store and they were just like stunned. They're like, oh, what, you're giving me a taco? It was just so confusing to people, but then they came back out, they bought more and they went back. And I love how you make it more than just it is hospitality. It's not just, go in, order something, wait for your item to come up and leave. You really truly feel like, seen and heard there, but you also get to sample stuff, which is really cool. Now, do you do that on the regular or was this a newer store?
So, it's by design, right? Because just like bringing a chef in or a line cook, it's tough to explain to people what we do. And you can see it when they walk in, they don't know what's going on. All of a sudden you think you're going to walk into a traditional convenience store and you're like, "Oh boy, what just happened?" Then we also know there's people pumping gas and not coming inside. So we said, all right, we just got to put food in their mouth. We got to let them know that we're making quality food and it tastes great. If we can do that part and get them to taste it and try it, we're going to be able to get them to come back in. So that's the whole plan on that. It's just to get you to try it.
Well, Jason, you spoke about trying to get people from within the industry to understand what it is you're doing and therefore be willing to come and work within the convenience store industry if they've been a sous chef in the restaurant business. But equally, there's an educational piece towards the customer and convincing them that a gas station might be somewhere where you can get real quality food and a quality experience. And I think there's so many components to that. And part of that is that hospitality mindset, all the way through to the visual cues in terms of the design, the look and the feel of the retail environment once you step into the store. So I guess you guys have worked a lot on that.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk in the front door, you're directly looking at the kitchen. It's an open kitchen. Sight lines are on purpose.
Mm,
Chefs are in white coats. I mean, we want that stage up there. They're rock stars, right? We want them up
yeah,
there cooking in front of you. It's theater. And this goes back to the late 90s of open kitchens and open restaurants concepts. So you could see what's going on, not hidden behind the curtain, right? So we want you to see that. We want you to see how clean the kitchen is. We want you to see him making your sandwich. We want you to see him folding that omelet, right? So all of that, I believe, helps, drive home that we're making stuff fresh for you.
yeah.
I have a question. Since I know you're in 4 states now. Alltown, the brand, has been around for many, 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 many years, and then Alltown Fresh is relatively newer. But you're also in 4 different states. I know you're up in the New England area, which is the East Coast side of the U.S. For our non-U.S. listeners, everything from Boston north over to somewhere in New York, upstate New York. Do you have regional menus like in those? Because I mean, somebody from Boston's, kind of expecting to see lobster and whatnot on their menus, maybe. Do you regionalize menus based on the stores?
So yes and no. We have, a core menu that goes across, but each location, we really want to be a part of the community and team up what's going on in that neighborhood. As much as a C store as we are, we want to be a community marketplace. So we partner up with perishable food partners. We partner up with schools. We partner up with the local teachers association. So we really want to be a part of the community. And we also want to help support any small business that's around that community, whether it be a maple syrup or so on and so forth. So the menu doesn't change as much regionally as we would like. This is something we're working on, right? 16 stores, 16 chefs, 16 sous chefs, and line cooks. Boy, there's a lot of opportunities there. Uh, it's one of the greatest challenges I've had going from independent restaurants to this job is making a Big Mac taste like a Big Mac in all the stores.
Yeah, that
It's
consistency part across the stores.
no easy feat.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's no easy feat, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun to do.
Because, Jason, the other thing about this, I guess, is I mean, it's called a convenience store for a reason, and that it's convenient and therefore it's quick. How do you guys manage that challenge of made to order and I guess the speed of service expectation that customers have coming into a convenience store?
Sorry, Nick, no industry secrets, buddy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good answer.
No, it's a constant challenge, right? And it's difficult to do. It's difficult to do. Some of our locations actually have like full blown lunch rushes where there's a giant line. And
Right.
these are the challenges that we've been learning over the last 5 years on how to overcome. Where you
Yeah.
have 10, 15, 20 minutes in a restaurant for those entrees or appetizers. Now we're getting that 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Mm.
And 6 minutes, even in our industry now, is pushing it. We're there waiting for
Right.
us in that lunch rush for 6 minutes because it's still quick serve time, right?
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
breakfast in 3. So a lot of it's technology, a lot of it's equipment.
Okay. Right. Okay. So when you say technology, you mean equipment?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
EOS and so on and so forth, but a lot of it's equipment, holding equipment. So we'll get into it when you come visit me, Nick.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm excited to see that for sure. But I mean, it's certainly a challenge across the sector. I think is expanding into food service and particularly made to order and fresh food to go, and it's not a challenge unique to any one particular retailer. It's figuring out what is that kind of balance that the point in time which customers are willing to wait, and maybe it is 6 minutes or around that mark. Um, and so it's certainly something that our industry grapples with all around the world. But I think, to your point, once the customer understands the quality of the offer and what they're getting for that 6 minutes, it's kind of a trade-off exchange that they're willing to make.
It seems like the mindset's changing a little bit. I was also at the next show, and
Okay.
it seems like there's more of a want or learning or understanding to start cultivating those ingredients or those products a little bit more, make them a little bit better for you. So there seems to be a real shift in thought process on those things. So I'm happy to see that.
Well, I think people, I mean, all problems aside, the pandemic maybe slowed people down. It sped them up a little bit in some ways, but it also slowed you down to really appreciate, what's coming at you. And I also, you don't mind waiting for good, fresh, well made to order food, as opposed to, like, you go to a fast food restaurant, you're like, why is it taking so long? It's been like a minute. Where is my thing that you just put together and it's been sitting in the back? So I personally, I'm one of the most impatient people I know, but I don't mind waiting for good food, a reasonable amount of time. And I mean, price is another thing too. That's got to be a little challenging, especially nowadays with the cost of goods being what they are, is keeping it affordable. So without going into those industry trade secrets you won't tell us about anyway. Has that been more challenging recently, or is that just always something you've got to factor in? Is making it still cost affordable for everyone?
I mean, in any market, whether it's the restaurant industry, the C-store industry, whatever it is, those margins were very thin before, and they're even getting thinner now. So it's a constant battle, and you're constantly working new ways to try to increase or decrease it, whichever side you're looking at, right? So it's constantly constantly changing and evolving.
And you're telling the story though too. You're saying, "Hey, we have cage-free eggs. Those are going to be a little more expensive." Things like that. You're probably. I don't. Just knowing you these 30, not even 30 minutes that we've known each other here, I don't think you're slapping crappy cheese on a burger and calling it a day either. I think that you have a finer taste. So as a consumer, I appreciate that.
And Nick, we're working to get down that 6 minutes down shorter all the time. We're working on it.
Right.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
But a lot of it too for us is the hospitality part of it, right? Is the engagement part of it.
Mm.
We want our chefs out there chatting with you. We want our team members out there chatting with you, telling you why the coffee is so good, or what that cage free eggs about, and just engaging you in having you have a better day, right? Because that's what hospitality
Yeah.
is all about.
And Jason, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I think the other side of that coin is the introduction of technology into retail in general and convenience retail, where you try to speed up the whole interaction and make less human contact, be that self-checkout or ordering via the app and pick up at the store. And those things certainly play a role within the experience and for people at certain points in their day. But I think one thing that kind of stays true to this industry is that human interaction and the importance and value of that. And people actually want that. They want to have that human interaction, as well as almost, I mean, maybe get educated is the wrong way phrase for it, but understand better what's happening in the store. And I think that's a great thing.
And if you can cover all the bases and give the option for somebody to come in and grab something quick, like we do a grab and go program. So if you want to come in, grab a sandwich out of the grab and go case, go put it through the self checkout aisle, and leave without chatting to anybody, more power to you.
Yeah.
You got in and out in 30 seconds. Same with our
Right.
hot slide.
And it's delicious.
And it's fresh, right? We made it, and it's quick and it's fast. If you want to hang out and chat about a bean to cup coffee machine or what's going on in the town that day, we can do that as well.
Jason, it sounds like you really are passionate about what you do, but this is a little personal question. What's your favorite part, one of your favorite parts about this particular role that you're in?
So, I grew up cooking my whole entire life. I've been in restaurants. I love chatting with people. I love chatting food. I'm kind of a ham at heart by nature. With being able to have access to all these locations and all these people, it kind of gives more of a reach, right? So if we design a sandwich or if we design a salad, and you're usually serving 300 people a night in a restaurant, okay, you can capture those 300 people. Well, now we have 16 locations with X amount of people coming in. That salad can reach that many people. So that sort of reach is just it's super, super cool. It's super cool.
That is very cool. And just kind of, I mean, on that point, which is about people in the hospitality industry, I was having a conversation at the NAC show with somebody who works across the food sectors in the US, and particularly with QSR restaurants as well. And it was interesting to me because I'd never thought about this before, that he made the comment that the QSR industry and the coffee chain industries in the US are very aware of what the C-store industry are doing in the food space and how much better they are getting, and how much more competitive. And it's the likes of Alltown Fresh and retailers like yourselves
Thank you.
who are advancing that and pushing that bar that the restaurant, QSR, coffee industry are sitting up and paying attention and going,
Good.
hang on, yeah. And I think it's to your point about reaching that many people. But also, if you think about the breadth of offer, often, no disrespect to any QSR because they're brilliant at what they do, but some of them are on a relatively narrow lane in terms of the breadth of their menu offer or the day part offer. And I think that C stores have a real advantage in a wider breadth of offer from a food service point of view, time of day point of view, and excellent coffee as well.
I think we have a more educated and informed guest than we've ever had before. And all it takes is one person or one company to start pushing the envelope a little bit. And then, you got to poach your neighbor and keep pushing forward. That's great. Makes me, everybody's going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's one of the cool things about the C-store industry as well is just the willingness to kind of learn and share from each other. And I think, going back over many years, there's always been this recognition from within the industry that by working together collectively, we create a better impression in the consumer's mind of what's possible in a convenience store. And, we all rise together, I guess.
It's pretty awesome.
So one final question, and you can answer it as deeply as you wish. What's next for Alltown? I know you already said that you're thinking of doing some regional menus, maybe. Are you on a massive growth path? Like where are you going in 5-10 years, something like that?
So I think just total world domination.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Just
Love
take
it.
over
All right.
Set the bar real low.
Yeah, right. Just make it easy.
No, it's really just about getting better every day, right? And just learning and getting hospitality out there in this spot, in this space that we have, in this market that we have, in this giant stage that we have, and keep trying to get better, learn, encourage, grow, and then just keep doing it over and over again.
Well, I love it. So, Nick, tell me when you're coming over. We'll make a trip north. We'll go check out several stores. We'll come meet Jason, have some more snacks, gain a few pounds.
Well, Carolyn, after this conversation, it's definitely on the C-store bucket list without question. Got to get up to Massachusetts area, New England, right?
New England, yeah.
I can find you in any of the states.
The best England. I go, hey. Anyway, well, this has been great. I do want. Okay, go ahead, Nick. You can rebut.
No, I was just going to say I'm keeping silence on that one.
So one of the things is we have some videos of Alltown Fresh up on our website at Global Convenience Store Focus, and you can check that out. You can see a little bit more. We also have some stories from, well, it's only a couple years ago. Maybe it's time we write a new one too, just to learn what's going on, what's new there. So, Jason, I appreciate your time this morning talking with us and sharing about your journey and about Alltown Fresh. And I'm personally excited to get up there. I think I'll be up in a few months, so I'll give you a ring.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jason.
My pleasure.
And thanks again for listening to The Future of Convenience. You've been listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced, edited, and mixed by Carolyn Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Tune in every other Friday for new episodes, and please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Learn more at globalconveniencestoreFocus.co.uk.